Hey everybody, Pastor Vern for their daily update for July 7, 2020. As we continue on in navigating a world that has changed to some extent, some things getting closer back to normal and other things just totally bizarre. And that's okay, I guess. That keeps life interesting, and it's a little disheartening sometimes because we get used to our patterns in our lives. And when we can't use those patterns, it becomes difficult for us to navigate for a while until we develop new patterns. And we're starting to do that. We had worship in person this week in all the locations with some folks coming out, and we still had good attendance online. So maybe we're developing some new direction as our ministries go forward. Well, today we're going to continue on with some of the women in the Bible. Today we're going to talk about Zapporah. Zapporah was Moses' wife, the daughter of Jethro, who was a shepherd. He was quite a prominent person in his community. And Zapporah was one of 7 daughters that Jethro had. Doesn't mention anything about Jethro having any sons. And so the 7 daughters, they went out and tended the flocks. Well, you know how she met Moses was she was out tending her flock when some other nasty shepherd showed up and forced them away from the water, her and her sisters, as they were trying to water their flocks, and Moses chased those intruders off. And as he had escaped from Egypt after his trouble with Pharaoh there, and then he come along. Then he watered their flock, and he was kind of smitten with Zapporah, and Zapporah was kind of smitten with him. And the story goes on that they went and told their father Jethro what had happened. That Jethro asked, "What did you do about this man?" And they said, "Well, he's just kind of hanging out there." And so Jethro says, "Why don't you invite him in, and we'll have supper with us?" And things just kind of went on from that. Zapporah did give Moses 2 sons. One of the interesting things about the desert fathers is that in Moses's case, Zapporah was his only wife, when multiple wives were relatively common. And part of that is because of Moses going to do the work that God called him to do, to be a prophet and to lead the people out of Egypt. Also, we get the intention that Zapporah and Moses were deeply committed to each other. When Moses left, Zapporah stayed back and did the work that was needed to be done to support her and her sons until they got a chance to be reunited again. Jethro took them and joined together, and she becomes part of the Exodus story. And we're not really sure how much of a part of the Exodus story she was, but she had obviously went to be with Moses. And if she was like a lot of the women of that time period, she had a significant influence on Moses and the direction that he would go with his leadership of the people of Israel as they went out of Egypt. Let's see. She was very supportive to Moses in a lot of ways, not only just giving him sons, which was an important part of that process. She was also loyal to him and stayed with him through all this difficult time. She's got some interesting descriptions of her in the Bible if we use the words that they used. And also, she shows up in the Samaritan Pentateuch also, which is kind of parallel to the Jewish Pentateuch. The stories have a lot of similarity and a lot of the same characters in them because they have a common background, even though they had broke ranks somewhere along the line. And so we get a little bit of description of Zapporah from both of those documents. They had a term for her in the Samaritan Pentateuch, the Kashia, which translated to the beautiful woman. And so that was kind of a compliment for her. It also They call her a Cushite, and Cushites were very dark-skinned people, where that means black woman. And so we kind of get a little bit of a feeling of maybe some diversity in the background of God's people, as Moses' wife came from a different group of people than he did. And they married and had a very long, successful time together. Let's see. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to lift up about Zapporah, other than she shows up just briefly in the scriptures, but she has some strong relationships between her and the men in her life: her father, her husband, and her sons. All right. Well, you guys take good care of yourselves. Watch out for others the best you can. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.